Hello, welcome to another edition of Good Cards Gone Bad. This is where we examine good tarot cards and why they may not be so good at all. And we examine some of the negative aspects and non-beneficial aspects of them. And today we are going to talk about one of the most favored cards of the deck, the Wish card, the Star. And we're going to talk about some of the dark side of the Star card, which is normally associated with Age of Aquarius. Oh, look what we got here. A Pleiadian Star Goddess. This is from the Mythical Tarot deck, and it's the version of the star. What could possibly be wrong with this? Well, there's something called New Age elitism. I don't know if you've ever seen it. If you hang around any New Agers for any amount of time, you've probably seen it. It's where they think they're from Pleiades or Orion's Belt or the Arcturian system, and they're aliens, and they're here on Earth to be way showers because they're evolved beings, and the rest of us are just unenlightened rats scurrying about. Now, some of this is tongue-in-cheek, because I do believe that we were likely seeded by aliens, and I'm a big fan of the Ancient Aliens DVD. But what I'm talking about is when anything is taken into an extreme, and so understand I'm slaying some sacred cows here, but trying to understand what I'm getting at. Of course, if you're going to be offended, it's the shallow New Age types that is going to be probably very offended by this particular episode of Good Cards Gone Bad. So put on your helmet and buckle up, because we're in for a ride. There is a better than attitude with the Star card in terms of its association with Aquarius and New Age thought, and aliens and indigos and crystals and rainbow children. And I understand all that. I mean, I fit the description of an indigo. I consider myself an adult indigo. I've seen crystal children, and I understand the phenomenon, but I think sometimes people get wrapped up into the label so much that they use it as an excuse for what I call New Age elitism, or I'm better than you. And I'm sorry, but saying you're from an alien race doesn't make you any better. The proof is in the pudding. Where's your body of work? Where's your character? Where's your stuff that you've created that endures? I mean, anybody can say, I was birthed in the belt of Orion, and I'm here to, advance consciousness. Are you doing it? Are you really doing it with your life and your teaching and your work? Or are you just blowing bubbles up people's ass with your New Age? I'm better than you ideas, and that is some of the dark side of the Star card. Sad to say. Another aspect, this is from the Snowland deck. Again, this isn't a real card. They're at the printers. My husband painted the Snowland deck. I'm the co-creator. You can find out more about our deck at snowlanddeck.com. This is the Space Cadet. Do you know what a Space Cadet is? They're a spiritually minded person, but they have no feet on the ground. When I was a member of Christianity, when I was a minister, we had a saying, they're so spiritually minded, they're no earthly good. These are the people that reside in their castles in the air, so to speak, but they have no scaffolding coming back down to touch the ground. Space cadets, just spacey airheads. There's nothing that really tethers them much to reality, to the element, the material realm. There's a lack of groundedness. Sometimes these ones can actually be schizophrenic. Can actually go into paranoia and delusions and some mental illness, because Aquarius is a mental sign. Even though it's the water bearer, people sometimes think that's a water. Aquarius is a water suit because there's water there, and it's called the water bearer, but it's not. Aquarius is a mental suit. And so, we have our snowmo knot. But this is a nod to part of the dark side of the Star card, or what we call the stars, which is being a space cadet who has no tethering to the material world. Then we have the Oracle Tarot by Lucy Cavendish. And there's keywords: hope, inspiration, and those are some of the keywords for the upright, interpretations of the star. And it is about hope and inspiration, don't get me wrong, but again, we're examining the dark side of these cards when the good cards go bad. These, in this respects, it could be the Pollyanna, like just like, oh, look in the star, everything's great. The Pollyannas who everything's just wonderful and positive, and if you're going through something wrong, these people have no ability, they have no sense of true empathy, and so their reactions to try to put spiritual band-aids on hurting and suffering is really bizarre sometimes, and really out of step with empathy. And sometimes you just look at such people and you think, what is wrong with you? Trying to put a spiritual band-aid on a gaping wound. I mean, these are the types, if somebody's suffering, they'll tell them to go read scripture or go chant with crystals. If they're hungry, we'll give them a crystal and say, well, just chant with us about abundance, or here's some affirmations. Instead of meeting their physical need first and then addressing the spiritual, these type of people would just try to new age it away. It happens sometimes amongst Pentecostal Christians. My first husband actually had a gift of healing, and ironically he got leukemia and ended up dying. I watched him suffocate to death. But it was really interesting watching some parishioners and colleagues who were into the name it and claim it, or blab it and grab it, we used to call it, basically just, here, claim the scriptures, brother, here's the positive scriptures. And and he did all that, I did all that. He asked me to read scriptures to him constantly because he hemorrhaged his eyes, his white count was so high that I was literally reading scriptures hours a day to him when he was first diagnosed, because he thought scripture was going to heal him. And again, that's what this card is. This card is not meeting reality head on and saying, okay, doctor, what's the prognosis? What is the physical things that are going to happen to me? And again, I'm not saying go to the other way where you don't have hope and you don't believe in miracles, because I do believe in miracles. I believe in hope and inspiration and big things. But I'm talking about the dark side, when this is taken to an extreme, and then it just becomes all new agey crystals and unicorns, farting rainbows, and there is no real world meeting of needs or solving of problems. It's these are shallow swimmers. They try to act very spiritual, and they're into their channeling and all their different crystals and talismans and incenses and all their little spirit signs and new agey things. But when the rubber meets the road, they get easily offended. They're shallow. They have no sense of empathy. They have no idea what to do in a crisis. They're the Pollyannas. They're just space cadets. I had this recently. I posted something on Facebook. I was feeling sick one night and I was feeling cranky, and I saw something somewhere where someone said that intuition is honed with this crystal, and I'm just like, sick, I wasn't feeling good. I'm like, I can't believe people think. And I'm not saying crystals may not work. I mean, that there is evidence of piezoelectricity and what have you, but if you're not going to do the hard work of actually listening to your intuition and following intuition and spiritual growth and internal work and psychological growth, and you can hold all the crystals and channel you want, and it's not going to do any good. But anyway, I just made this little glib comment, and I even said that I was sick and I was Miss Cranky Pants, and somebody who I thought was a friend, who said she was a friend, unfriended me, and sent me this little pissy message, how her feelings were hurt by that because crystals was her work, and she misconstrued a bunch of other things, and she was jealous of a friendship I had with another woman, but you don't do this with her. And I just, step by step gave her the real dope of what happened and how she assumed so much. She, of course, didn't come to me and ask. She assumed all these things, got all hurt and offended, unfriended me and ended the friendship. I mean, this is classic dark side of the star. It's as long as you're all happy and smiling and you're using your crystals and you're channeling, you know, one of the things that she got offended about is because I left one of her new age groups. You know, she just was so spacey to me. It's like, I totally don't resonate. So I just quietly left, you know. I didn't make fanfare, didn't announce it. Well, she noticed, and she got pissed off. I was like, oh, come on. You know, that's what your friendship is based on, you know. Whether you're, you know, somebody's a member of your group, or, you know, they use crystals like you, or talk about aliens and channeling or whatever. I mean, anyway, I don't have time for these kind of space cadets. I don't know if you do too. So, but that's one of the dark side of the star, you know, the age of Aquarius, the hippie movement gone to extremes. Lastly, let's look at the whimsical tarot, and this is fairy tales. And this one, I believe, is the Blue Fairy. I don't think, that doesn't look like Pinocchio, but, you know, I'm reminded of the movie AI. Stanley Kubrick, it was one of the last movies he worked on before he died. He's the same one who did, ironically, 2001: A Space Odyssey, which my husband's Snowland image is kind of a homage to. But AI is a really heartbreaking story about an artificial intelligence line of boys, and he wanted to be a real boy. You know, it's kind of like a riff on Pinocchio, and he, you know, his search for this blue fairy. And so another dark side of the star is looking for that blue fairy, looking for the blue fairy to explain to us our origins, where we came from, you know, what matters in life. You know, I accidentally tripped our little good bad angels. So, you know, there's this quote that says, "We are the ones we have been waiting for." And I can't remember who said that. So it's also, you know, it's saying, look, be the change you want to see in the world, which I believe Gandhi said that. You know, instead of looking for this nebulous, elusive blue fairy to explain who you are and who your origins are and to give you meaning and purpose, create your own purpose. You say what life means, because I mean, seriously, how can we know any of it is true? I mean, how can we know if someone says, okay, this is your life purpose? I mean, who is to say? And so, because I don't think we really know, and I believe there is that blue fairy, I think we create our own meaning. It's a matter of what you want to experience. If you want to see certain changes in the world, then do it yourself, you know, or support those who are doing it, you know, rather than sitting in a corner with your crystals on top of your head, lighting your incense and umming, and you're not doing anything practical in the world, you know. So it's another dark side of the star card, again associated with Aquarius. And Aquarius isn't, you know, a card about advancement and brotherhood and the new age, going from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age, which has wonderful benefits and technology and what have you, but also there's flip sides. Also with the star card, because it's associated with Aquarius, is technology, social media. It has brought us together in some ways around the world. On the other hand, people are reporting feeling more isolated than ever. You know, there's the cyberbullying. One of the guys who ended up creating the internet, there was a really interesting article in the recent edition of Smithsonian Magazine. I can't remember his name, but he has these dreadlocks. And he was saying he regretted being a part of creating the internet, and how what should have been a democracy and the sharing of ideas is turned into actually a mob effect, mob rule, hive mind, groupthink, bullying. And so that is another dark side of Aquarius, you know, which is associated with the star card. So, you know, I'm going to keep that in mind too when it comes up, if it comes up reversed or ill-dignified or what have you. So thank you for joining me for another edition of Good Cards Gone Bad. Today we talked about the star, and it just goes to show cards that you think are all awesome and wonderful may not be. And that's what I'm here to do, to help you show what some of those things are. My name is Janet Boyer. You can visit me on the web at janetboyer.com, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.